Yeah, I got a daily stand up around 11 Eastern each day.
How does that go? Because that might be something that I'd be interested in implementing in 2019 as a team stand up, but we don't do much. So when you do a team stand up, it's you guys are all working on the same project, right?
Yes. So we usually center all of our stand ups around like-minded parties. So if we're on a project, we'll all be, just basically going round robin and say, what you doing? What did you do? What are you doing? And do you have any blockers? And it's usually um, DJ'd by our project manager. So she's in charge.
So when you say blockers, like stuff that you're stuck on.
Yeah. So basically, is there anything in the way? Do you have any excuses, and how can we take those away? Essentially, what is in your way as a blocker? What do you foresee that you will need possibly in the future, near future, that you currently don't possess that will eventually be a blocker? What is currently just absolutely got you at a full stop right now, if anything? Those sorts of things.
Now, do you have enough team diversity or enough multidisciplinary players on the team where if someone is having a block, someone else can be like, hey, let me jump in and see if I can help?
Very possibly. I will say we rarely have blockers.
Oh, fancy.
Which is crazy because I've been on projects that every day there's 10 blockers, So we're quite siloed yet unified, if that's, that oxymoron makes any sense, because we have people who just deal front end. We have me just on back end. We have designer who just designs. We have business analyst who just answers business questions all day. And then we have the project manager who is quarterbacking everything. And if the UI folks are blocked, they try to resolve it within each other. If I am blocked, I try to resolve it, but I time box myself, and then I will punt to people outside of the project since I don't have any other back end people to lean on. I'll just have to go with a conceptual. Here's the conceptual problem. How would you help solve it?
Right. So you're well siloed and staffed on a project. However, you have other team members outside the project that you could punt to if you needed to on a project.
Yeah, and that's a try to take advantage of lightly situation, because crossing the streams like that means you're disrupting their flow.
Someone else's workflow. Sure. I totally get that.
So, there's no perfect formula, but I usually try to work things out, Google things after that, and then time box myself and go, okay, I haven't made progress, which happened earlier. I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago. I was like, okay, I cannot figure this out. I need to phone a friend. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. And that doesn't happen all that much, but when it does, I need just to rubber duck with someone and say, look, let me talk through the problem. A lot of times I'll resolve my own problem just by bouncing it off that person.
Right.
And other times I will need them to pretty much find a flaw in my logic, my thought process. And if they can help me do that, then that usually unlocks the problem. And that's essentially what it was. I was holding on to a fact that I didn't need to. And if I got rid of a certain fact, then all the pieces fell into place. So
right. But as a model, your team members are very specialized. There's not very many multidisciplinary team members on one of your project teams.
See, I wouldn't classify that. So our front end guys can do a full stack. I can do a full stack. Our designer, she's really good at design. I don't know the spectrum of a designer, but when we get put on a project, I mean, just think of it as a football player in high school.
Sorry, I wasn't meaning to imply that their only skill set, but when you set up a team, the disciplines are very siloed.
On purpose.
Yes.
So what we do is we say, Kevin, you own this bit. Taylor, you own that bit. Addie, you own this bit.
Right.
And you are the king or queen of your territory there. and that comes with great reward and great responsibility and possibly tears. And run your kingdom or queendom how you see fit. And the 3 or 4 kingdoms and queendoms have to live on one piece of land peacefully. And that's where the project manager is almost uh,
The landlord.
Yeah, the one who gets to decide because it's her project. I mean, we empower our PMs that look, all the blame and all the credits both yours. So you make decisions because whatever comes out of this is your responsibility. So we each, we have our own areas, but the project manager is in charge of everything.
See, now I know that there's some places where the teams just aren't big enough. So, this person gets this responsibility and then this other person might get all the other responsibilities. And
so
that seems like a great place to say that on the Bob and Kevin show, the thoughts and opinions of Bob and Kevin are exclusively their own independent thoughts and not the thoughts and opinions of their potential previous or future employers.
Or current
even too, yes.
So, I mean, yes, we wear multiple hats. So I'm the back end guy, but I'm also the network engineer. So not only am I writing C# and SQL, I also have to make sure we have elastic servers that scale properly. I'm also in charge of security from a particular boundary back, where the front end folks are in charge of things like, I don't know, Webpack and injecting malicious scripts unwittingly. That's their domain, not mine. So
I hate it when I unwittingly inject a malicious script. I hate that.
Yeah. So I really like this sort of setup because I get to be the king of my domain. I get to call the shots, and when I decide to refactor the entire thing, the only one I have to please is the project manager and convince her that, look, this is important enough that I want to take some time to do, and she's the only one I have to convince. We don't develop by committee, so I don't have to convince the front end people of anything unless I introduce a breaking change. Then I have to put on my foreign minister cap and say, UI kingdom, here's what I propose. It will make my life easier and hopefully yours too. And they can push back and say, no, please don't do that. It's going to disrupt us. And I'll say, damn it. And I'll have to either accept it or make an appeal. I don't appeal to the PM because I like to work out things with the UI folks directly.
I'm going to go tell dad.
Exactly. I'm going to go find mom or dad and say, well, I want to do it like this and they want to do it like this. And we just, that's mostly a artifact of working together for so long with folks. You know what they want, what they expect, how they expect to work, and vice versa. They know what you're going to give them. So I hate to sound like it's pie in the sky, rainbows and unicorns, but when you have a good team chemistry, we really don't have internal conflict at all. All we really have to do is, how are we going to solve this problem? We're going to do it like the last time? Okay.
Yeah, and it also sounds like it's a really good model for your team. So that's really what it boils down to.
It does. I mean, it just works. Our PMs are, or our main PM, she's got a technical mind, but she doesn't, get into zeros and ones, and she knows what kind of confidence level we exude when we say, yeah, it's going to take this, yeah, it's going to take that, and she'll either believe us, push back, and then she's got a little bit of UX in her too, so she'll be like, hey, you guys are thinking way too much like engineers on this. This is just not making sense for Joe user right now, or Jane user. So we all wear those different hats, and I don't know, we figure it out.
Well, I feel like we've got a lot to cover potentially here as a year-end wrap-up episode and a year kickoff episode, all in the same one fell swoop. So I think we should get on it.
Yeah.
You are listening to the Bob and Kevin Show with Bob Beattybar
and Kevin Gishesky. Each week, we cover relevant tech and social issues related to technology.
And more weeks than not, we're joined by special guests to add additional perspective to our topics.
Our website is bobandkevin.show.
And our episodes can be found on virtually any podcast network.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Just search for Bob and Kevin Show.
Hey, Bob, what are we doing today?
Well, Kevin, I think I just teased that with the opener there, and I'm going to actually just pull this way back, possibly to off, so I can think and speak in the same time. That was really loud in my headset. But we're doing a year-end episode today and a kickoff episode for the big 2019. We're going to cover, I think maybe we're going to beat up on some people that we used to beat up on all in 2018 because they're back in the news. And I want to do some show resolutions, maybe. I don't know, plans. I hate the word resolutions. And I think we'll recap everyone where we've been on our weight loss bets or whatever that thing is called that we're doing. So I'm Bob from the Bob and Kevin Show. And the other guy that's on the line that you can hear is...
I'm Kevin.
Oh my gosh, that might be our first big move for 2019. Kevin is going to identify himself.
All right,
so,
Bob.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's been a long time since we've recorded. It's been over a month, right?
As the kids say, it's been a minute. I like it.
Yeah.
I like just saying it that way.
So, I mean, a lot's happened. We've had Black Friday, we've had Christmas, we've had Thanksgiving too, I think, in there. Wow, basically a lot of buying holidays in there.
Let's not forget our 401ks have crashed during that time too.
Yeah, I think the government shut down right now.
The government is shut down, yes. Yeah. So much has happened.
So I think more revelations on Facebook and how Facebook is just eating us alive minute by minute. Even if you're not on Facebook. What else is going on? Oh yeah, we're doing the weight loss thing. Gosh, you're right. There's a ton of stuff. Where do you want to jump in?
You know what? Let's because this really pulls into our year in review kind of thing. So that Facebook from privacyinternational.org little article that I saw fly through my Twitter feed. Was that yesterday? It was yesterday. About Android apps and certain Android apps sending user data to Facebook, even if you're not a registered Facebook user. As everyone knows who listens to the show, Bob and Kevin are not necessarily giant fans of Mr. Zuckerberg and his data stealing empire. So when I sent you that link, what was your first thought yesterday? I have it in writing, but I figure I'd give you the opportunity to say it out loud.
Well, for me, it's par for the course. I really think Facebook is evil. And I know I sound like a broken record. And yes, I deleted my Facebook in the last 12 months. Actually, I think it's been 1 year-ish. But I'm not surprised because one of the reasons I left Facebook is because I discovered what the link actually is telling you, that basically on Android, Facebook has access to OS level things, meaning there's the only way that Facebook knows that I have certain things installed in my app is either the app itself is telling on me or the OS itself allows it. And so I don't know where the line is, but I think the link that you gave me yesterday basically says, yes, all apps immediately tell Facebook what's up, what's going on this phone, right?
So, yeah, and here's my big question, though. So it seems that Facebook offers an SDK for app developers. And the question would be, do you think the developers are knowingly doing this, or do you think this is a byproduct of the SDK, and because it helps make their job easier, they just use it?
Well, I think there's a kickback, right? So we're using MyFitnessPal, and there's advertisements in there. The only way that those ads know how to give me relevant information, it's not just giving me like, hey, use and some sort of testosterone booster, the typical fitness things. It still has the shopping things that I've seen that I go to on Facebook, or not Facebook, Amazon or Walmart or Target. Those things still show up in my MyFitnessPal because of the stupid ad networks, which are probably run by either Google or Facebook, are integrated in these apps, and there's incentive when there's a free app to just say, hey, Facebook, yes, we'd love to integrate with you so we can make money on this app. So shame on you, Under Armour, because it just really bothers me that, again, I'm just a piece of data. Data is the new oil, as Bob would say.
Right. And so you and I have talked about this aspect before too. I'm pretty sure that by using that SDK, that gives you that sweet little, hey, log into our app as your Facebook account. And that's where it all kicks off. But I don't understand how it sends data to the Graph API, even if you're not. I mean, I know it's just adding to their demographic data, which really, as I'm saying this stuff out loud, just my blood pressure, I can feel it going up. But I mean, is that the whole thing? You're offering a piece of software, a tool to developers to be able to simplify logins, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in a data trap.
So it's not just login. You don't even have to have Facebook for this,
right,
to be in Facebook's ecosystem. What they can do, they can build a profile of who you are based on a variety of things: your browsing history, your constellation of apps you have installed, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't even have to be on Facebook for them to go, this is Bob's phone. So we know who Bob is. Facebook actually knows who Bob is because Facebook's now the CIA, and they have a dossier on everybody at this point, whether or not you want to be in Facebook or not. And we just connect that information to the Facebook servers. And guess what, Bob? You don't even need to be on Facebook, but you're on Facebook. How do you feel about that?
That's the part that really just frosts my nuts.
Oh, me too. I hate it. That's why we need oversight, because Joe User or Bob or Kevin, we are too small to stand up against automated fingerprinting of us and data collection. So we need some sort of regulation. But watching all those stupid senators and congressmen either ask dumb questions or just completely gush over Zuckerberg, I have zero faith in that.
Well, the funny thing is one of the first things that I thought when I saw this come over my stream yesterday, and I clicked the link and I started reading it, I'm like, oh my God, Kevin deleted his Facebook account based on some of this fuckery, for lack of a better term. Yes. And even though he deleted his Facebook, you're still caught up in the goo, because you still use an Android device with apps, and we're using one of those apps for part of our fitness tracking.
That, and I'm on Instagram, which is
Facebook,
a bona fide Facebook profile. I had to sign up I want to call it a fake account, but it's still me with my name, so I could get into for client information. I had to sign up for Facebook ads and things like that, and Facebook takes the tack that you can't sign up, cool guy 1234 at hotmail.com. They do a verification, or it's a light verification, but they want to know who you are, and now we all know why. So props to at least Twitter. You can at least sign up as fake Bill Murray, or whatever. But yeah, I'm beside myself, because I thought I got away, but I can't get away. And now I have no choice. They get to build data. So let's kind of put it into perspective. Bob, let's create something that we will just document every single human being on Earth against their will, and we'll just build a huge database. What do you think?
It's already done.
Right. It's Facebook. But do you think anyone would care if you said it like that? Hey, we're just going to create this huge online database on everyone on Earth, and we're just going to collect data points on all of you. There you go.
Yeah, I reference situations like that. Are you a Pearl Jam fan at all?
In the 90s, absolutely. I haven't listened to a Pearl Jam song, though, in probably 20 years.
Well, yeah, just because they're not super relevant anymore. But there was a time where I feel like they put out an album and basically said, we're going to poop. Nah, it doesn't even sound right. We're going to take a giant turd and put it on a record, and we're going to see if our fans will buy it. And I can't remember the name of the record, but they did that, and people still bought it. I don't know if we would have the Pearl Jam street cred to do that and get away with it. Like, say we're going to build the ultimate data collection empire, and here's your stupid little piece of your Bitmoji keyboard that's going to be the thing you get for giving us all your data.
So,
But I bet you Facebook could.
So let's keep all the blame in perspective too. So Facebook is the chief evil actor here, but think about everyone who I mean, Facebook's bringing in money from somewhere. All those people giving money to Facebook are buying demographics. They're buying. They're part of the problem, and much like our president, if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And we can't fight against big corporate machines, because when somebody in the marketing department of one of these companies comes and says, guys, we have the numbers are in, our sales are up when we did this Facebook campaign, do you really think anyone's going to have a moral conscious moment and say, guys, we shouldn't be doing this? No, there's nobody in that room.
Did you take a quick scan of like the applications that are just in the default seed that they show, like for the app analysis on that privacyinternational.org?
I did not.
One of the items in the top row, other than MyFitnessPal, Family Locator GPS tracker, Indeed job search, kayak flights, the King James Bible free version, Muslim Pro, period tracker, and yes, that's tracking menstruals and ovulation cycles. A prayer app for the Muslim community, Skyscanner cheap flights, Spotify, the Weather Channel, TripAdvisor, Yelp. I mean, it's just and then another looks like another prayer app. So think about the data set that they're getting.
Well, yeah. So, and have we turned a corner? Because back in the day, you'd have, a banner on a website, right? And it had nothing to do with you. It was just, some companies like, hey, you have eyeballs in your site, put our logo here on a rotating banner, blah, blah, blah. And then we evolved to pay per click. That's the Google model, right? And now if we look at Facebook, it's like, hey, you know what? You don't even have to show advertising on your app. All you have to do is send us all of this data porn basically to us, so we can continue feeding the machine, and we will make our money by selling to anyone who wants to plug into the machine. And oh, by the way, we'll kick it back to you some of this because you're feeding the machine. So you don't even have to show ads anymore.
I'm sure somewhere hidden deep inside the terms of service for these apps, that shit's probably in there in some hard to understand format, but
I'm certain of that. But did you see the headlines where Zuckerberg was saying he wants to be better this year, essentially?
His New Year's resolution, yeah. He's not going to be such a demon.
Yes, he's not going to. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe it. I don't think you believe it.
I promise to be less evil.
One thing I definitely don't do anymore, and it's easier because I'm not on Facebook anymore, is the whole login with Google or login with Facebook. I absolutely actively avoid those now. Nope, sorry, won't do it.
One of my digital New Year's resolutions is to stop using my shitty old passwords. I've actually going to migrate fully to LastPass to have automated generated passwords.
I am on LastPass as well, finally. And yeah, I don't even know the passwords to half my things, and I have to look them up. And what grinds my gears is Apple, because kids got a lot of Apple devices for Christmas. I have to hand type all these random ass passwords in there every time. Of course, I get them wrong, at least twice.
Nope. Pump your brakes. Your brakes. This just in. LastPass on OS 12. You can actually go into your settings, passwords, and then select an autofill from LastPass.
Really?
Yeah, there is a LastPass app for the Apple network.
Yep.
And you can actually set that to be your autofill.
Bobby just unwittingly fell into one of my traps I wanted to talk about. So parents are like, hey, wouldn't it be great if your kids want like an iPod to go on eBay and get a cheaper, older one, so you don't, so you can get more for your money and whatnot. So that's what we did. So last year we got Jackson an iPod Touch 5, and this year we got Josie an iPod Touch 5.
Oh, and those probably won't even run 12.
Yeah, that is correct. And what bothers me is they don't even run 10. So the most recent supported iOS that they have is version 9, which means when Kevin goes and gets Amazon Music, streaming for the family, and Jackson and Joe say, Dad, can we get, free streaming on ours too? I'm like, well, it's not free. I'm paying for it, but yes, let's download the apps. Well, you go to the app store. You can't download Amazon Music unless you have 10 or higher. So frustration just totally sets in. You think you're getting ahead, and then Apple's like, you know what, we're just not going to support these older devices. And then you can say, well, no, it's Amazon who's choosing to go with iOS 10 or later. But here's where Apple really screws the pooch here, because there actually is older Amazon Music iOS apps available for theirs, which is 9.35 or something, but you can't download it through their app. It won't let you. It'll just say, sorry, no comprendo. It don't work.
Then how are you supposed to get it?
You have to go online and find a bunch of hacks, because the apps do exist. And so what you have to do is you have to take an iOS device that does support 10 or later, download it on that device. Then you take that same Apple ID and go onto each older device, and it goes, oh, you've already had this app before.
Previous purchases.
Yeah, so here's the older one. So you got to do all this monkey business. We had kids crying because they can't listen to music on their brand new. Of course, an iPod Touch 5 is like 6 years old. I get it. So don't at me. But come on, when Apple decides to do a major upgrade and then everyone else jumps ahead so they can have something stupid like facial recognition or some Animoji piece of poop that looks like a face bouncing around the screen, and my kids can't have Amazon Music because of it, you jerk faces. So anyway, we hacked around it. So screw you, Apple. We hacked your system, but still, this is talk about tears on Christmas. Yeah, I had to go through that. Anyway, back to you, Bob.
Another thing from 2018 that I wanted to bring up, and I pretty much guarantee I know the answer to this question, but the DNA testing kits. There was a big advertising push for get your family the gift of DNA analysis for the holidays. Did you or anyone in your family subscribe to such
no? And
frivolity?
I'm telling everyone to stay away, because if you read the fine print, 23andMe and Ancestry.com reserve the right to own your profile. You do not actually own your own DNA.
And actually, I believe we'd have to get the intern/fact checkers on this too, but there was a story between the time of Christmas and Thanksgiving, or Thanksgiving, Christmas, whichever way you want to stack that, that one of those companies had indeed sold, quote unquote, doing the air quotes thing, anonymized, I don't even know that word, cleaned data to Big Pharma.
But by definition, is that even possible? Like, for instance, if I say Bob Beatty Bar, or it's you. I mean, it doesn't get any more intrinsic than you, no matter what. So if somebody goes and if you go somewhere else and get the same DNA profile done, and somebody does a reverse check, right? Oh, that's Bob.
Exactly.
It's like the password you can't change.
That's an entire DNA string of basically PII.
Exactly.
Personally identifiable information.
Now, it recently solved a cold case murder here, the Ancestry.com stuff, and 23andMe. So you're going to have a bunch of people say, look, there's a lot of good that comes from this. But I would also say that, once you give this away, there's no undoing it. Once you post it to the internet, there's no getting it back.
There's a lot of good that comes from this. I feel like that's the phrase that's said at the opening of every Black Mirror episode. Like, it's not said, but like that's the understanding. Like, right. We got to where we are in this episode because there's so much good that can come from this technology.
We had to break a few eggs to make this omelet, but now we have an omelet and a bunch of broken eggs. But I am totally against it. That's my position. What about you? What are you?
100% against it. 100%.
Well, let me ask you the Black Mirror-y type question. If you got one done and it could tell you exactly what you would die from or what sort of horrible diseases are built into your code, would you want to know?
Very good question. And for listeners, longtime listeners of the show probably know that I'm going to say, hell no, I don't want to know, because I'm just that kind of guy. Like, I I very don't at me from this. I very rarely, as a middle-aged man, like to stare a doctor in the face, because every time I go, he tells me there's something, or he or she, sorry, tells me that there's something wrong with me. So I'm not down for getting a full DNA profile to find out that I'm gonna die from fill in the blank cancer at age fill in the blank while walking my fill in the blank pet. I don't want to know all that from a test.
Me either. Ignorance is bliss. Well,
Yes,
if I'm gonna die next week, I want it to be a fucking surprise. Let me tell you.
exactly. Unfortunately, I'm sure people around me don't want it to be a surprise, but maybe if I, kind of presented the question in that way, they'd be okay with it being a surprise as well.
So yeah, great question about the 23andMe ancestry. I think it's salacious. It's like, ooh, that's cool. Ooh, charts. Ooh, I can find out that I'm Northern European, or I have some distant relatives from Zimbabwe. Ooh, neat. But after that, like 10 minutes of reading your report, you have to have some sort of like, now what?
Right. How can this be used against me? Is kind of like, even if it's aggregated and cleaned data, the healthcare industry doesn't need to know that X percentage of people are going to contract diabetes in the next 5 years.
Oh yeah, and you've paid for the privilege for all this fear. And yes, in some point in the future, the insurance companies will get their hands on it and go, "Hey, thanks for signing up for life insurance, but you're gonna die of whatever coronary heart disease before the age of 70, more than likely. Here's your X number percent.
Yep.
So
here's your premium hike. Boom.
Exactly. I could also see the insurance companies making a push for, oh yeah, you want life insurance? No problem. Here's your swab kit. Send it on in. You don't even have to go to the doctor anymore, or you don't even have to get your blood drawn, because I think you've probably been through the process, right? They come out to your house these days. They draw your blood. You fill out this questionnaire, family history. Hey, let's make it easier for you. We'll send this DNA kit out to you. We'll even cover it. We'll send you a fancy chart and tell you where all your relatives are from. And here's your premium. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Who wants to, who cares? I mean, I know there's people out there, but Joe Rogan even did one, which blew my mind. But anyway, talking about like, I'm 0.0015% fill in the blank. Who cares?
Right. It's a statistical anomaly,
99.999% something. Who cares?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So anyway,
Right.
I had a very careful plotted path when I mentioned the 23andMe and the DNA and the kind of like the beginning of every Black Mirror episode. There's so much good that can come from this technology. Just 2 days ago, I believe, 3 days ago now, Netflix debuted the latest Black Mirror thing, I guess you could call it. It's not really a season. It's actually, I think, feature length. Have you had a chance to engage with this digital platform yet?
I read up on it, but I have not. I am about 8 months out of keeping up with streaming content because of my living predicament and internet starvation situation. So I haven't seen, was it Bird Box, which is apparently breaking records.
I heard it's terrible, though.
Oh, well, I don't know, but I don't know.
I have not consumed Bird Box either, but
I haven't really done any streaming, and I feel terrible. But the good news is when I do get streaming back into my life, I will binge on it for hours.
When Kevin gets into his new house, I will not speak to him for months.
Yes. I'll have to live stream and podcast at the same time.
He will emerge from his newly finished man cave with sunken eyes.
Absolutely.
Translucent skin.
So have you done said Black Mirror thingy?
I have not. I'm super excited to find a time to sit down and engage with it. From what I've heard, it's choose your own adventure entertainment. So I'm excited to see how that works. And just excited to see how they weave that story. See, now it's starting to get super creepy, though, because now they're going to weave that story into that technological hook point and that dependence. And we're getting so much closer to all their stupid, brilliant entertainment. I'm
Yeah,
so terrified and intrigued all at the same time.
absolutely. And now for something completely different. Did you get anything good for yourself for Christmas, or did somebody get you anything?
We actually kept Christmas super duper low key this year. The wife and I, for the first time ever, actually agreed and held to the agreement of not getting each other any gifts.
Awesome.
One of my children did not even come home for the holidays.
That's not as awesome.
Yeah, that's a little weird. We're still adjusting to that one, but he is a very busy young man, and those of us that were in attendance, the gifts were, we came up with, well, actually I can't take credit for this. Caroline, my incredibly brilliant wife, found online this kind of like super simple four-point list for holiday gift giving. And one of them, like something you would read, something you would wear, something you need. There was a rhyming scheme and I did it wrong too. And then something you want. So like it was just that four simple things. So we sent that, this is weird, totally nerdy. We sent that out to the kids in a Google Doc and had each one of them fill that in. And that's kind of how we got to our low-key Christmas. And the kids actually gave the gifts to each other. We gave gifts to the kids, so we used that list for them. The original question was, did I get anything cool for myself? Because you know me. And we both know how we each other Christmas shops. And I did actually get a 4-channel Behringer audio interface. So I upgraded my podcasting gear, basically.
Are you using it right now?
I am using that piece of equipment right now. And
Good.
the reason why I acquired it is because part of looking ahead to 2019 is the ability for you and I to go places, possibly to do these podcasts, and the ability to have 2 additional guests mic'd up with one simple interface. Boom, done. So
I like it.
yeah. So kind of looking ahead, this was a looking ahead gift for sure. A growth gift. How about yourself?
The wife and I, we usually do not buy each other gifts either. This year we broke the rule a little bit. We just basically said, "Hey, can you buy me this one little thing?" And and she's like, "Yeah, fine. Can you buy me this one little thing?" And that's all we did for each other. For the kids, we did. I've got an 18-year-old, 10-year-old, 6-year-old, 4-year-old. 6-year-old got a iPad 2018 with a pencil because she loves drawing, even at 6.
Score.
Yeah, and they were on such discounted deals that we just couldn't pass that up. Jackson, 10-year-old, he got one of those Lego Boost things. So it's basically a robot that's iPad driven. Very cool.
Nice.
Good job, Lego. The 18-year-old, he basically got a gift card to go buy whatever you want, kid.
The kid who already has everything, by the way.
Right? The 4-year-old, she got typical toys, but I'm hoping here in a few years we'll be completely out of the toy game, and just into the sort of list thing. That list is a really cool idea because I don't like toys. I like buying tools instead of toys for the kids. So something that you can bootstrap some sort of passion you have, whether it be drawing, making videos, streaming on Twitch. That's what Jackson's dream is, I think. So I'd rather help subsidize those sorts of things rather than toys and toys and toys and toys.
Right.
So that's
but
what
those first toys are those tool toys as well, because that's how they develop that imagination for what's going to be that next passion.
Yeah, but after a while, there's only so many Legos, and there's only so many dolls and Barbies, and that a person needs.
Right.
So we're trying to break out of that. Less is more is kind of the thing. You get, rather than quantity of gifts, you're getting more quality gifts. That's where I'm hoping our trajectory is going, at least for the kids. And now we go for the self-indulgence gifts, the stuff that Kevin bought himself.
Yes. What did Kevin purchase himself?
So Kevin's been doing less social media on purpose and more introspective and non work-related hobbies. So I bought a new Fender Stratocaster, playing lots of guitar lately.
Ooh,
Bought a new effects rig for it. Got a drum machine. And
nice.
I'm eyeballing one of those Behringer mixers. I'm looking at like a 20 channel mixer. Obviously not portable. So
You can get a
yeah.
case for it.
Yeah, I don't think I want to move that kind of gear. Getting a power amplifier. So, a musician, like a guitarist or bass player, which I've been playing both a lot at the church, you can buy, like a Marshall stack or, a Fender, amp. But the better bang for the buck is to buy a mixer board that you can do direct input on the instruments, power amplifier, and some speakers, and then just basically pipe it in that way and skip the amplifier all to get like the boutique amplifiers and just do like a crown power amplifier. Anyway, so in 2019 I'll be focusing a lot more on live sound. My girls love to sing and dance.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jackson, or actually both boys, they both play piano. So that's pretty much that. And then the other thing is fitness gear. I have enough kettlebells to really put a hurt on my own body. So I've gotten a lot of kettlebells, some running equipment, like reflective gear, safety gear. So that's what Kevin spent his money he did not have on himself.
That's awesome. So are you going to have an audio room in the house?
Yes. The entire upstairs is all mine in the new house, and it's 2 main rooms. One's
Wait. How do you get a whole floor to yourself?
You stipulate that the rest of the house is for the wife.
Well, I feel like that's an understood, but I mean,
right. So, it's not. The house is a ranch with a partial basement and has what we call a loft. So essentially, the area of a 2-car garage is my area, and it's going to be 2 rooms, not including a partial bath, but it's going to be my office and Kevin making music room. So that's in the future, near future, actually. So should we probably update everyone on our fitness challenge? Is now an appropriate time?
yeah, since you did the kettlebell segue, why the heck not?
Yeah. So I think this is only the 3rd time we've mentioned it. Can't tell if this is the 2nd or the 3rd. So to recap, listeners, Bob and I both had to lose. We agreed to lose 21 pounds. Whoever lost 21 pounds first before January 31st,
weighing in 2 weeks in a row at the target weight.
Correct. Would be crowned.
Crowned
the Bob and Kevin Show champs, I guess, or champion.
Bob and Kevin Show fitness champion.
I gotta tell you, I started out really slow. Didn't think I would make it very far before I just decided to wander off and find something else to do. But it's been, how many weeks has it been? It's been.
We're heading into the 3rd month. So, I mean, right? So it was all of November, all of December, and all of January.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're heading into that 3rd month. So what is that? 8 weeks?
Yeah, I think because 3 months would be 13 weeks fully, but we're partial of October, and we haven't even started January. So I've been doing the kettlebell thing before work, usually an hour of working out, and then I decided to put some gas on the fire, speed up this darn process by running. And oh, by the way, your pro tip of using MyFitnessPal.
Other than the data hacking part.
Yeah, other than giving away all my personal habits, has actually benefited me quite well. In fact, I'm within 4 pounds of my target, so that means I've lost 17 pounds so far.
And I am not doing as well as Kevin. I kind of set my target. Oh, we can talk about your targeting error as well after this.
Oh, right.
So I set my target to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. I'm really looking at this, yeah, of course I want to win the contest because I have an ego and I can sometimes not keep it in check. But anyway, I set a target 1 to 2 pounds a week, kind of just to do this in a long-term sustainable way. And I knew I was going to hit a huge plateau with 10 pounds left. Kevin and I had actually spoken about that even before we started doing this, that we knew we'd have that struggle with the last 10, although Kevin's doing much better with the last 10 than I am. And I have been pretty much stuck at 175 for going on almost a month at this point. I got down pretty quick and then have plateaued. So I've talked about doing a 24-hour fast here sometime early in January to see if I can't jumpstart this. But I'm not running. I'm doing the elliptical just because for some reason I can't motivate my lazy ass to get outside. But burning some serious calories on the elliptical and still doing my keto kind of approach. But
Well,
yeah, so I had mentioned briefly, Kevin actually hit me with this epiphany the other day of why he might be losing weight so quickly. So you want to share?
yeah. So when you sign up for MyFitnessPal, it asks you what's your current weight, what do you want to be, and then it gives you a calorie number. And I misinterpreted the calorie number. So for me, it was like 1,700 calories. I thought that if I ate 1,700 calories, I would be a wash for the day.
Net
Like,
zero. Yeah.
exactly. So you eat 1,700 calories, you're going to stay right where you're at, Kevin. And so what I was doing was, well, I want to lose some weight, so let me come in under 1,700. And I had been doing that every day forever, and I've been dropping pounds like crazy. So I've probably been overdoing it. However, I've had several days that I've eaten probably 2,600 calories, and yesterday was one of those days. And the reason is because I go to like a steakhouse for someone's birthday or whatnot.
Steak.
And so when you try to reconcile 2,600 versus 1,700, it's like, ooh, I need to do something. And that something for me right now has been running. So over the week, the last 2 days, I ran 13, 14 miles. And that's the equivalent of like 1,800 calories or something crazy that just don't happen. So if I get hungry or get roped into going to do something, it's actually really easy to manage because now everything's quantified. I know how much I'm putting in my body and I know how much I'm burning. Actually, the Fitbit helps me with what I'm burning. And as long as I make the math work, I lose weight every single day. So I can't complain.
Yes. So with the data points, it's very easy to see that regardless of the dietary intake pattern you choose to follow, the main key is if you burn more calories than you take in, you will lose the weight.
It's so much
elementary.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like money, it's like, well, if it's the inverse of money. So if I take in too many calories, I have to put that weight somewhere on my body unless I get rid of it somehow. And for me, quantifying it is key. So knowing I count every calorie on every meal, and I've done so for going on 50, 60 days now, however long we've been doing this. And it's just routine. Before I eat something, I say, okay, well, let me put it in there. Am I allowed to eat this? Yes, I can. And if I get to lunchtime and I'm like, crap, I've already eaten 1,700 calories and I haven't even had a dinner yet.
What the heck did you eat for breakfast and lunch?
Well, like I went to Logan Steakhouse yesterday. That's a 1,100 calorie meal easily.
Yeah, good point. I don't eat out very often.
Well, we don't either. And believe it or not, right now I'm kind of like, I hate it. Not only do I have to pay for it financially, I have to pay for it, in calories.
Incredibly eye-opening, right?
Oh, it is. Because when I come out of there, I'm like, crap, I have like 100 calories or no calories for the rest of the day. And I know I'm going to get hungry later. It's just the way it's going to be. So what do? As soon as I got home, I ran 6.5 miles right after dinner. I know that's a 900 calorie, credit to my account. And now I can have dinner. And that sounds horrible, but I've lost weight virtually every day. What I have noticed is plateaus do happen. And sometimes when I get back from one of these runs, I'll lose 2 or 3 pounds in water. And it's incredible how much, I'll weigh myself before and after, and I will lose 2 or 3 pounds. And I will know the next morning now, just because I know how it works out, I will bounce up 2 pounds probably north on the scale. And I expect that because I'm actually putting the water back in my body.
Right. That's the whole concept of weight cutting right there.
Oh yeah, boxers and MMA people, they're like, yeah, dude, you're just finding this out, So if you look at my weight progress, it looks like a sawtooth because I or a bouncing ball, but I'm trending downward at such a crazy rate that if I can keep up my pace here, and I'm starting to wear tired of this pace, I should hit my goal within the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping so.
Easily, I would think easily. I'm going to
It all,
struggle to get to the end by the end of January
it
if
all
I don't
depends.
kick it into high gear.
So today's New Year's Eve, and I volunteered to be the DD, so I won't be drinking at all tonight. It'll be water and counting calories all night for me. So,
Ooh, sounds so exciting.
well, we're going out with my wife's friends, so I let her. We don't exactly have Uber in the cornfields of Indiana, so Amish buggies with Uber drivers just don't happen too often.
Have you checked on the Uber app? Because I think you might be shocked.
There are, but it's like one driver per county, so you might be waiting a little while, and it's just not worth the effort right now. Plus, I get to say, you know what? I'm not drinking tonight because I have a competition.
Because I'm in competition right now.
That's right. There's a trophy at stake here, people.
And then it's just a subtle drop of a conversation starter, and they're like, "Oh, a competition," and then you're like, "Yeah, I do this podcast with a buddy of mine," and they're like, "Wait, a podcast?" And then boom, next thing you know, your wife hates you.
Next thing we know, we're quitting our jobs because we're full-time podcasters. Okay, probably not. But one super great, or there's many benefits to this competition. I proven I can stick with it. B, my clothes are hanging off me, so that's both a good and a bad because I have to buy smaller clothes. I'm literally dropped a shirt size. My pants are now, I look like I am urban and need to pull up my pants. you know and people have noticed, they're like, wow, you look so much younger, Kevin. Like, nobody thinks I'm 40 anymore. Nobody. Everyone thinks, if they just meet me, they think I'm early 30s, which is like mind freaking blowing. So, I mean, that's great, and I don't have to stand a certain way because the light hits my gut just right, so it doesn't look as fat. I can stand any way I want now. It is so crazy.
That was probably the most funny thing that you put in chat. That you're like, I don't have to pay attention how I stand. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh shit, that's exactly right.
Yeah, so I don't have my double chin anymore. I actually have some semblance of an abdomen, though we talked. It's, if you're from the Midwest or the north of the snow line in America, usually there's so much snow that they have to do those big front end loaders, pilot high, and it doesn't melt until like mid to late April. Well, that's how my gut feels, right? I feel like that's the Alamo of fat on my body. It's like the last holdout. The rest of me is like, I cannot pinch an inch anywhere else on my body except for that damn midsection. And I probably easily have another 10 pounds to start looking like, a fitness guru. But I don't know if I will go down that far, just because I think once I get into the 160s, that's it. I can't keep going because I just look too dang skinny at some point.
Well, that was my next question. Like, where do we take it? Where do we take it from here? So, we're going into 2019. We'll finish the contest at the end of January. I mean, if I get down to 165, that will be the lowest that I've weighed in adult memory. Like, my driver's license weight, which is a total lie, is 175. And that's where I sit right now. So that was when I was 20 something. I put 175 on my driver's license and never changed it. If I get down to 165, that means I'll be lighter than I was when I graduated from college.
Well, for me, I want to get into the 160s and just stay there if I can, and maintain. Now I have this grand vision of like totally looking like Dwayne the Rock Johnson at some point, but that's just totally not going to happen, especially because I don't do gym memberships, and I don't have the amount of resistance machines to be able to do that. I just have kettlebells and things like that. So I think if I can just stay in the 160s and prove that I can keep counting calories and just keep taking care of myself, I think I will be happy. We'll see what 2019 and my willpower has in store.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure that part out too. I think you and I talked about this, that my goal was obviously to hit the weight. And then I wanted to, like, I'm not doing much strength training right now at all because I do put on muscle weight fairly quickly, in my opinion. And I think that would be negatively impacting my weight loss. So I'm doing, mostly just managing calorie intake and output and doing cardio. Like I'll do body weight exercises, but I think after the competition's over, I want to try to see what kind of muscle I can put back on and maintain the look and just see how it goes. I don't know what's going to happen to the weight. I definitely like feeling like I can wear 30-inch waist pants again. So that's big. I definitely want to keep that feeling.
Yeah, my belt, I've run out of holes. So either I'm going to do like what you do with your kids and put an extra hole in their belt to kind of get an extra life out of it, or buy smaller belts. I'm both happy, and it's just weird how this is all working. One of the things that I've started doing is running, and thank you global warming, because we haven't had any significant snow, and we definitely live well within the snow line here. Um,
Oh, thanks. You just screwed us all.
yeah. um, I've been running farther and farther just to see if I can do it. So I've been mentally challenging myself to go, okay, I ran 2 miles nonstop. Can I run 3? Can I run 4? Can I run 5? Well, 10K is just 6.2. Can I do that? Well, I've done that 4 times now. That's and I do it back to back days. Now I'm like, shoot, yeah, I could do more than 6.2 miles, but where's the next little milestone? Should I keep going? I mean, I pay for it. My left knee kills now. It just throbs and it locks up. And
Oh,
it's good until the next. It's not good until the next morning. Then I'm just fine. So I can't tell if I'm actually wearing away something there, and I should like tone it back a little bit. Or
it's probably just itis. I mean, I'm sure it's tendonitis from overuse, some kind of itis, inflammation.
yeah,
Owen and I used to always joke when we were training hard martial arts, we would keep going to the gym every single day because if we skipped a day, we'd get sore. So basically, we'd
right.
be just chasing the soreness on to the next day.
Just deferring soreness.
Those milestone things are so funny. I've been suckered by distance, I've been suckered by time, and most recently, I've been suckered by calorie burn. So like,
Really.
I will actually only look at that space on the watch and be like, oh, I can get to the next 50 calories or the next 100 calories.
Yeah, I so time and distance are our usual goals, and time for me is pretty irrelevant, because when I start out, the first mile is the toughest.
Oh yeah.
It's cold, my body's cold, the wind's really cutting into me. I just like, gosh, I really don't want to. Why? I'm an idiot. Why did I even think
I
about
refer to that as the fuck you mile.
it? Yeah. But once you're about a mile in, you're like, okay, I'm warmed up. The cold's not a problem anymore. Now, get your breathing down, things like that. And then it's just go, go, go. And it's mental toughness and completion. I literally have the thought of time doesn't matter, Kevin. Complete your distance. Don't stop. Because I value not stopping and completing the distance goal over beating my old time. If I happen to beat my old time, great. That's an extra bonus. And the way it's been working out is the more I do the same routes and keep running over, I actually do go faster, but I don't consciously try to go
Right.
faster.
Nope, because that can ruin your don't stop if you do that by accident.
Yeah. Now, I did have an app idea. So I listen to Bluetooth headset when I run. I have to have music when I run, or I'm just like totally mentally out of it. It would be nice if an app on my phone would be like, Kevin, you're ahead of pace. Kevin, you're behind pace. Kevin, you're chasing a ghost. The ghost of you is either ahead or behind. If you run the same course.
So in those apps, what do you use for your running tracking?
Fitbit.
Oh, so Fitbit might not have this, but I think that fitness tracker, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the running component of that one is. Hang on, I'll tell you because it's on my phone. Oh, Runtastic. Runtastic is made by the same folks, I believe, as MyFitnessPal. Maybe not. but you can save a run. So you run the run and then you save the run. And then the next time you go out, you can race yourself against that run. And it does exactly that. It
All
says
right.
you're ahead of yourself, you're behind yourself. I used to love that when I actually had my Garmin watch. That Garmin watch actually did that built into the watch. And you would actually get a visual representation of where you are today versus where you were on that saved run. And it actually would give you a visual ghost to follow.
Speaking of that, so most like virtual reality to me is just totally worthless. Augmented reality, I think, is where it's at. So it would be great to have like a Google Glass or just regular glasses like we're wearing right now and just project some sort of ball or something. You know, it didn't even have to be a person running, like, you know, it just be like,
literally a carrot.
yeah, it could be exactly showing you like that's where, and different targets, and maybe do a carrot, a cherry, and whatnot. So the carrot,
waka 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 waka.
exactly, you know where I'm going with this. So it'd be really nice to be like, look, if you want to keep on pace with where you were, chase that one right there. If you want to break Bob's record because he's ran the same course, you got to chase that one up there, you know, and so on and so forth. So I think augmented reality would be way cooler like that.
There is a running app out there where it's the opposite of that. You get chased, and it's zombies chasing you.
Do you have to like look behind you though?
It actually shows up on your phone. So
Okay.
when you're running the course, there's zombies that come onto the course and get behind you. There's so much fun stuff out there. We could probably go on and on about different running apps all day. The one thing that I did want to cover, since we're heading into 2019, and we'll keep it show based because we talked about some personal goals for 2019 already. So I think to wrap up today, and I'm not saying that we're wrapping up right this second, but to kind of close out the show, what kind of ambitions do you have for us, the Bob and Kevin show, rolling into 2019?
A little more consistency on episodes because full disclosure, it's mainly my fault because I just don't have great internet anywhere. So
well, I don't push very hard either. So
I'm in a very noisy cafe right now because it's fairly decent internet, and well, it's better than rural internet. So I think more consistent. I think I want to put down as a goal, we need to do a on site, at least one, maybe two co-located shows. So you and I are in the same actual room.
I do want to try that for sure.
Because last year we did the Umbraco hot wings. You know, I came up to Batavia. That was pretty fun.
Right, and I still have to come to you. So
yeah, so when I get the home office all squared away and some internet, heck, we don't even have to have internet in that particular case, right?
Right, just the laptops and the mics.
I want to do that sort of thing more often because I really like having conversations in a room as opposed to, I call the fishbowl, you know, effect, you know, which is the fishbowl. So that's about it. I don't have any strong ambitions that we're going to become wildly popular tech guys. If we do, great. But, you know, reality is we're family men first. We have jobs, you know, we're regular Joes. We're not necessarily grinding, air quotes, to become the next big thing.
So when is your house done?
Well, I have a foundation, and we're waiting for framers. So weather has a lot to do with it. It's pouring rain here. You got the holidays interfering. We'll have an amazing Amish crew of framers out there any day now. I think I would be happy if we're moved in April.
Okay. Because I'm heading out. Remember, let's not forget everyone out there in podcast land. I'm heading out in June. So we will have a very narrow April to June window.
Okay.
Being relatively closely located, you know, only a couple 100 miles versus 1,000.
That's true. But I do still plan on helping you move out to Colorado.
And we'll definitely record when we do that for sure.
Yeah, we can record on the road or something, you know, somewhere in the middle of Kansas. The Bob and Kevin show.
Bob and Kevin show coming to you live from Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, actually, what do you know about Kansas City? Total random fact here.
Not much at all. There's a nope. That's St. Louis that has the arch. So nope, not much at all.
Kansas City is in 2 states.
Oh yes, Missouri and Kansas.
And the main part of it is in which state?
The main part of it is in Missouri.
Very good. So I met
50-50
somebody.
shot.
Yeah, right. I met somebody at our corporate retreat who's from Kansas City, and I was, kind of asking her dumb questions like, Kansas City, is that, where the Chiefs play? Is that Missouri? Is that Kansas? She looked at me, she's like, I'm from Missouri, and don't you forget it. And I'm like, oh, so apparently it's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so Kansas City, Missouri, apparently is where you want, just like Chicago, there's a thing called East Chicago. I think it's in Indiana. I don't think you want to be from East Chicago. So.
No, definitely not.
All right.
Well, for me, show goal is definitely to get better at social media for the show, because we're kind of bad at it. So if you want to tweet us at Bob and Kevin Show, that's where you can find us on Twitter. But we're going to try to raise those followers. I'm going to put together a strategy document and submit that to Kevin come early here in the new year. Set some strategies and some goals, targets.
Sounds official. I need some
schedule
stickers.
Of monitoring. Oh yes, and I need to send Kevin stickers.
Yeah. So there's Bob and Kevin Show listeners who have stickers.
And Kevin has none.
I have none. I need to put one on my laptop. That's really all I want to do.
And your phone. And your Android phone.
I don't think I'm going to put, well, yeah, I guess I have space. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. Yeah, so that's it, social media. And anything else for the show?
I think we just, regular consistent recording, goal of doing some in-person face-to-face episodes, and fire up that social media and let's get that listener, I think we're just over the 1,000 threshold, probably in the 1,200s right now, maybe, and see if we can, maybe hit 5 this year. That'd be great, because that's how the bumps go. 1, 2, 5.
All right, man.
Any parting thoughts for listeners going into 2019?
Be safe. If you make resolutions, try to keep them, right? I'm not going to do the weight loss thing because I already did it. So did you. We're like 3 months ahead of schedule.
we are ahead of resolution.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you have any personal resolutions that you're aiming for?
No, I just want to. As you know, I just like to podcast as much as possible. I think that's the biggest thing. Focus on mindfulness a little more. I've been trying to do that heading into the new year. So, the new year's just kind of like passing that, getting done with that fuck you mile. I got the fuck you mile done, and heading into 2019, it's just keeping pace.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to focus more on non-programming. I'm also going to go back to YouTube when I have decent internet. I'm going to be recording more and more YouTube. It's so weird because I get like 1 follower a day or subscriber on my old YouTube that I haven't uploaded since February, and I think eventually I'll start back up there because. And now I'm just totally digressing. I got my first 10,000 view video a few weeks ago, and it was dependency injection. Jackson's starring in it. He's excited because he's in a video that's got 10,000 views. But it also shows what is popular and what isn't, because I'm kind of reflecting on what works on my YouTube and what doesn't. Umbraco stuff just doesn't work. That's like give me a bunch of views quick, but then burn out like almost instantly.
Yeah, not as evergreen for sure.
Right. The evergreen stuff about holistic stuff about programming does work, and that's where I think I'm going to focus on. So I know that was a long answer to the resolution thing. So I'm going to do music and probably come back to the videos on YouTube eventually.
Excellent.
Probably mid 2019. So
when the studio's set up.
That's right. Studio 1A will be great. You got to call it 1A because then people think, oh, is there a 1B? Yeah. So
excellent.
All right, Bob. we have one more order of business, and if you don't mind, you can
Bring the 2019 lightning.